so I am back. I'm going to be watching the last episode of Ghost Host Ghost House. I'm a couple of days late for it. It's been a bad couple of days, I won't lie to you. I've not wanted to watch anything, and I knew that when I did watch something, this would be the thing that I needed to watch first, so I've kind of been putting it off. I don't know, my excitement for it has just kind of dwindled a little bit. But we're gonna get through it. We're gonna watch the last episode. We got a time jump now. We got Kevin going abroad again, back to America. I also feel like it's been ages since I watched episode 7. I think the combination of like not really loving the end of episode 7, and then we had Between Us on Sunday, and then we had, that's really loud. We had Between Us on Sunday, and then we had the GMM TV stuff, the live on Tuesday. So with all of that taking up my energy as well, I feel like it's been like years since I've seen this show. I'm probably not gonna like the first 2 parts, right? Maybe the first 3 parts. And then in like the last part we're gonna get a happy ending, I'm guessing. We would hope. We would pray.
ไอได้ไปแคสงานโฆษณาไม่ใช่บทเอกตาเลยนะไอขอพาคนอื่นไปด้วยได้ปะ
เดี๋ยวพวกน้าจะแลก last day ไปด้วยกัน
เหลือเวลากี่ชั่วโมงครับ
มีเวลาพอดูพระอาทิตย์ตกดินเลยแหละ
ไอยังไม่เคยได้ขอบคุณยูเลยตั้งแต่ไอ
Kevin's such a cutie.
ยูก็คอยช่วยเหลือไอมาตลอด
Plume's such a cutie.
ไอก็แค่
I felt so bad for him last episode.
มาเมื่อไหร่ก็เจอเป็นเปล่าไอขอเวลาหน่อยได้ไหมอ่ะขอเวลาอะไรอ่ะขอเวลาที่จะลืมเขาหรือขอเวลาที่จะรักเราอ่ะยังไม่ได้จะรีบกลับเร็วๆนี้ใช่ไหมลืมไว้ที่ทะเลอันนึงแน่เลย
Bye bye Ghost House. It's been a week. They said in the preview it had been a couple of months, right? Like 3 months? So we know things aren't going to get resolved after a week.
ฮัลโหลครับพี่ชี่
เป็นไงบ้างลูกชายถ่ายคลิปแนะนำตัวมาให้พี่หรือยังจ๊ะ
กำลังจะถ่ายครับ
Does he know that Kevin's gone yet, or has he just been ignoring him for a week and hasn't realised?
แล้วก็เดี๋ยวพี่จะคอนเฟิร์มอีกทีเรื่องนัดแคสบทซีรีส์นะจ๊ะวันพุธหน้าบ่ายโมงตรงโลตามที่เคยส่งไป
ได้ครับพี่ผมจะตั้งใจครับ
Enthusiasm for it has dwindled a little bit, no? Is he trying to call Kevin? Is this your first time trying to call him in a week? He gone. He in another country. He out of there. I'm gonna break into your property. Probably not gonna take it very well, right? Things were going so well between them. Yep, I think he's starting to figure it out. Kevin not here no more. Don't be too sad, please. I don't want these guys to be too sad. I'm guessing he knows he left the country, right? Where else would he go? Plume was the only other living person he knew. Oh, he started streaming from America? That's gotta be rough.
สวัสดีครับทุกคน กวินคงจะมาขึ้นผิดเวลาใช่ไหม ตอนนี้ที่นี่ก็เที่ยงคืนกว่าๆแล้วครับ กวินอยู่ไหนอ่ะ กวินอยู่บ้านที่อเมริกาครับ ขอโทษด้วยนะที่ไม่ได้บอกทุกคนก่อนนะ พอดีมันกระทันหันไปหน่อยครับ ไหนๆทุกคนก็ถามถึงแล้วเนี่ย
That's gotta suck, no?
เล่าถึงตอนที่อยู่ที่นู่นหน่อยละกัน เพราะว่ามีเรื่องอะไรหลายอย่างเกิดขึ้นเยอะมากเลยครับ แต่ว่าคงเล่าให้ฟังทั้งหมดไม่ได้นะ กวินแค่อยากจะบอกว่าช่วงเวลาที่ผ่านมา ถึงแม้ว่ามันจะเป็นเวลาแค่ไม่กี่เดือน
Oh, it was only a few months he was in Thailand. Oh god, we don't even know how long the time jump's gonna be.
ได้เรียนรู้ที่จะอ่อนแอ เจ็บปวด สูญเสีย มีความสุข แล้วก็ความรัก
God, I thought he was talking about how long he'd been in America. Oh no. That has to suck for Plume, no? Like, to go from feeling like
กวินเคยรู้จัก
you guys are
คน
close
หนึ่งครับ
enough that you're gonna ask him out and you've slept together and
เขา
stuff,
เป็นเพื่อน
to
ที่อยู่กับกวิน
he doesn't
เกือบ
even
ทั้ง
get a
ชีวิตเลย
goodbye when Kevin goes back to America.
เขาสอนอะไรให้กวินหลาย ๆ อย่าง ที่ทำให้กวินเติบโตมาเป็นกวินในทุกวันนี้ เจคเป็นคนที่กวินอยากเจออีกสักครั้งครับ เพื่อที่จะขอบคุณทุก ๆ อย่างที่ผ่านมา
Kevin, you're not my favorite person right now, I'm not
เมื่อ
gonna
ไม่นาน
lie.
มานี้ กวินเจอใครคนหนึ่ง เขาไม่เหมือนใครที่กวินเคยรู้จักมาก่อน
They know, you introduced Plume on stream.
เขาเป็นคนเข้มแข็ง แต่ก็อ่อนโยน จริงจัง แต่ก็มีมุมตลก อยู่กับเขาไม่เคยมีวันไหนไม่หัวเราะเลย เขาดูแลกวินดีมาก หลาย ๆ อย่างที่ผ่านมา ถ้าไม่มีเขา กวินก็คงผ่านมันไปไม่ได้ เขาเคยบอกว่า อยากเป็นคนที่กวินหันมาเมื่อไหร่ก็เจอ
So I left without saying goodbye.
เขาเป็นคนที่สอนให้กวินรู้จักทั้งความสุข แล้วก็ความเศร้า ทำให้กวินรู้สึกถึงความรัก แล้วก็
But
ความกลัว ที่ผ่านมากวินมีความสุขมาก แต่มันมากเกินไป มากจนกลัวจะต้องเสียมันไปอะ
that's such a weird.
ทุกคนคงคิดว่า
I don't get it.
การที่ กวินเคยสูญเสียเคยมีโมเมนต์ที่ไม่ได้บอกลากับคนที่อยากบอกมันจะเป็นบทเรียนที่ทำให้กวินเก่งขึ้นแต่ในชีวิตจริงมันไม่ได้ง่ายแบบนั้นเลยครับ
I'm trying very hard to understand Kevin right now. I'm really
ไม่รู้ว่าคนนั้นจะดูไลฟ์นี้อยู่ไหมแล้วก็ไม่รู้ว่าเขาอาจจะโกรธหรือว่าเกลียดกวินไปแล้วหรือเปล่าแต่กวินอยากจะบอกกับเขาว่าขอให้ยูโชคดีนะได้ทำตามความฝันอยู่ที่นี่ไอก็จะใช้ชีวิตให้ดีขึ้นทำในสิ่งที่ตั้งใจไว้ให้สำเร็จ
Yeah, no, I don't get it.
และไอก็จะเป็นกวินที่โตขึ้นเผื่อว่าสักวันถ้าเราได้เจอกันยูจะเจอไอในเวอร์ชั่นที่ดีขึ้นนะ
He liked the version of you that you are now. I don't understand, right? His reasons keep changing. First it was to do with Jake. Then he was saying that he's afraid to lose it all, so he throws it away before it's even started. He's lost Plume anyway, so... I don't I don't get it. I don't get it.
วันถ้าเราได้เจอกันยูจะ
The
เจอ
only part of that I understand is that he... I don't know. The idea that he would grow up more living by himself, right? Because he's going from being reliant on other people, reliant on his aunt and uncle, and then reliant on Plume. So at least living by himself in America, he would grow up more and be independent and grow as a person. So I kind of get that. But leaving the country without saying goodbye to Plume, without an explanation until you're already gone and in another country, that sucks for him, no?
ไปตรงแยก5ซอยสมิธจันทร์ครับ
I don't get the reasoning. He doesn't seem that cut up about Jake. But he did last episode, but he didn't before that when they were fucking each other, no? So the Jake thing kind of wavers, and then in that whole thing he made it seem like, oh, they look different, no? God, how long is this time jump gonna be? I don't get, and in that conversation it's like, actually Jake's not really the problem. The problem is I got scared and I was afraid to lose it all. But by that reasoning, doing what you're doing, you're losing him anyway. And Plume liked this version of you, so it's not like you need to be a better version of yourself. You just need to be you. The reasons don't make sense to me, personally. There are some of the I always struggle with the time jumps. I always will, I feel like, but at least with some of them they make sense, right? Like with my biggest example is Until We Meet Again. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. As you probably meet that. I don't know. But the time jump for that, it made sense to me, right? I said, like, take as long as you need. It made sense. And it was a reasonable amount of time where they were still texting each other, so it was believable that they were still into each other as well, right? But what I said last episode, and what I feel still holds up right now, is that this feels like it was just added in for drama. It doesn't make sense to me. if they had done it earlier before they had slept together and stuff, maybe. But they were completely fine getting close, and then this just comes out of nowhere. It definitely feels like it was just added for the drama, no, and the conflict, and I don't know. The reasons don't make sense to me. I don't know. This looks like it's going to be a long time jump now. I fucking hate time jumps that last for like like with 1,000 stars, right? They last for like 2 fucking years or something. I hate those ones because it's so unrealistic. The amount of time that passes. What is that? Is that months or years?
น้องชอบกวินนะนั่น
ก็ลองไม่ชอบดูสิ
No, you're gonna tell me how much time has passed. Hang on. See that? You see that? 3 years later. We got a 3-year time jump. Doesn't make sense. You wouldn't still have feelings for someone after not talking to him for 3 years. 3 years is a long fucking time. It's so unrealistic. And this is coming from the Disney princess kind of lover, you know?
น้องชอบกวิน
I love romances that are really unbelievable.
โดนกวินแกล้งแน่
เดี๋ยวเธอะกวินต้องช่วยแม่ดูแลน้องสิลูก เป็นพี่ชายแล้วนะเราอะ
แล้วมาแพ็คคู่แบบเนี้ยโตขึ้นมากวินปวดหัวแน่เลย
เขาคงเห็นว่าแม่แก่แล้วมั้งเนี่ย ก็เลยให้มาเป็นฝาแฝดเลย จะได้คุ้มๆ แล้วเนี่ยมาอยู่กับแม่นานๆน่ะ พ่อเขาไม่ว่าเอาเหรอ
ก็พ่อนั่นแหละบอกให้มา เขาบอกว่าจะไปเที่ยว2-3 อาทิตย์อะถ้ากวินเหงาก็มาอยู่กับแม่
พ่อแกนี่นะไปเที่ยว
ใช่กวินเป็นคนยุให้เขาไปเองแหละ
ปรับความเข้าใจกันแล้วเหรอ
ตอนแรกกวินก็ไม่คิดเหมือนกัน แต่พอได้ลองเปิดใจคุยกันดูอะกลายเป็นว่าเขาก็ไม่ได้เป็นคนเข้าใจอะไรยากนะ แม่ไม่ต้องเป็นห่วงกวินแล้ว ตอนเนี้ยกวินกับพ่อคุยกันได้แทบทุกเรื่องเลย
He's still very cute, no?
งั้นเดี๋ยววันเนี้ยอยู่ทานข้าวกันนะลูก
กวินคิดถึงอาหารไทยมากเลย
คิดถึงแต่อาหารไทยเหรอ
โอ้ยเลิกแซวได้แล้ว เรื่องก็ตั้งนานมาแล้วเนี่ย
A really long while.
เลิกแซวได้ยังไง ก็คนนั้นน่ะเขายังไม่เลิกมาดูตอนที่กวินไลฟ์เลยใช่ไหม
Oh.
คนไหน
ก็มิสเตอร์พีไง
He joins all of the lives for the
เขา
last
เป็นแค่ยุทธ
3
ที่มาดู
years.
ประจำเฉย
You've got more determination
แต่
than
แม่
I do.
ว่ายังไงอ่ะคนนั้นก็
I would not be I would not be chasing someone that just walked off for 3 years and won't talk to me.
อืมเรื่องพ่อก็เคลียร์แล้ว แล้วทำไมไม่เคลียร์เรื่องนี้ด้วยล่ะลูก
จะเคลียร์ทำไมเรา มันไม่มีอะไรแล้วแม่
อืมเขาเป็นดาราไม่ใช่เหรอ แม่เคยเห็นเขาในซีรีส์นะที่พวกป้าเหมียวเขาดูอ่ะหรือว่าเราไปดักรอหน้าตึกอะไรอย่างนี้ได้ไหมเผื่อเขาจำเราได้
Wait, Plume is a star? Really?
เขาจำไม่ได้หรอก
Did I understand that correctly?
ช่วงนี้พ่อเขาก็ไม่อยู่ เราอะไปพักผ่อนบ้างดีไหมลูก ไปเมืองไทยก็ไม่เห็นจะเสียหายอะไรเลยนะ ช่วงเนี้ยทะเลกำลังสวยด้วยนี่ แล้วไปคราวที่แล้วอะเห็นว่าชอบ
I guess there's one good thing about a long time jump, right? Is it would make more sense that Plume's career would advance. Although again, that then just feels like the time jump is being used as a plot device that's very obviously a plot device, you know? It doesn't feel believable. But that would still be cool if he's like got a cool career now. He does, very cool. And still has time to join all of Kevin's his live streams.
ก็ถ้าพี่ชี่ว่าโปรดักโอเคปื้มก็ไม่ติดเลยนะ
แหม เป็นดาราดังแล้วอะไม่คิดจะเล่นตัวหน่อยเหรอ
ก็อยากอยู่แหละ แต่กลัวว่าลูกค้าเขาจะเดือดร้อนกันทั้งประเทศอะดิ
โอ้ย ลดความมั่นลงด่วนค้า เดี๋ยวใครเข้ามาได้ยิน เขาจะหาว่าฉันไม่สอนเด็ด
ก็รอเล่นเวลา
จ้า
พี่ชี่พรุ่งนี้อ่ะปื้มไม่ว่างนะช่วงเช้าถึงบ่าย
อ่ะ แล้วจะไปไหนอะ
ๆจะไปส่งเพื่อนที่สนามบินอ่ะเพื่อนมันจะไปต่างประเทศ
Hmm.
เพื่อนจริง
จ้า อยากทำอะไรก็เชิญ ก็ดูแลตัวเองด้วยแล้วกัน ฉันก็จะไปดูแลเด็กใหม่แล้ว เบื่อหน้าแกจะแย่
Who could get sick of that face?
จะทำงี้หรอ จะทิ้งผมเหรอ นี่มันตัวท็อปอันดับ1ของค่ายเลยนะ
ฉันไปรอข้างนอกแล้ว รีบแต่งตัว เขาจะเริ่มถ่ายกันแล้วจ้า พอดาราตัวท็อป
Cute.
ขอให้สนุกกับทริปนี้นะจ๊ะ หวังว่าจะได้ของฝากเป็นคนที่แม่อยากเจอ
ได้ครับ
Isn't that Plume he just walked past? Is it not? It is, right? Someone's taking a picture with him. Yeah. He didn't even recognize him. You're trying to tell me you're still in love with this man. You don't even recognize his side profile anymore. Oh, gosh. Well, this is giving me crazy episode 1 flashbacks, right? Although he does look so much different. The fuck? What is wrong with these taxis? Is that the same taxi driver from episode 1? Or does all taxis have these?
อ๋อ ใช่ครับ ใช่
Oh, it's a weird episode 1 deja vu in there.
ไปไหนครับ
ไปตรงแยก5ซอยสมิธจันทร์ครับ
ได้ครับ
Oh, weird deja vu. I don't know if it's the same driver or not, but we got all the stuff going on the dashboard again.
อ๋อ ผมอยู่เมืองนอกอะครับ แค่แวะมาเที่ยวที่ไทย
อ๋อ
Yeah, it went really well last time.
แล้วนี่มาพักบ้านญาติเหรอครับ
แค่แวะไปเยี่ยมเฉยๆครับ
ได้ครับ
Just drive, man. Taxi drivers and their small talk. Couldn't be me. I can't believe they walked past each other in the airport.
ถึงแล้วครับ
ขอบคุณครับ
And Plume didn't put the lock back on it. Is he literally just coming back to Thailand to reconnect with Plume? But then he said he's only here for a few months, so he obviously doesn't plan to stay again. I thought you were at the airport. Did you beat him back here? Slow taxi driver, no? What is he even doing in that house? Oh, he's happy to see him. That's a good start.
ขอบคุณนะที่เก็บไว้ให้อะเหมือนได้เจอของสำคัญที่หายไปเลย
Don't know how I feel about it, but we'll go into it. It's gonna be as if he never left. I guess. After 3 years.
สนับสนุนโดย VB Live Application
They're both very sweet, I'm not gonna lie.
เวลาเหงา
จะไปต่อไหมครับ
How did you get
ลง
here?
ตรงนี้แหละครับ ขอโทษที เดี๋ยวยังไงฝากยกกระเป๋าลงด้วยนะครับ
โอเค ได้ครับผม
I don't think Kevin was thinking he was gonna see you this quickly.
เอ้นี่คุณปื้มปิติพงษ์ใช่ไหมครับ
ใช่ครับ
Oh, people
โอ้โห
recognize
ไม่คิดว่าจะได้
him.
เจอเมียผมเป็นแฟนคลับคุณปื้มนะครับ ชอบตั้งแต่สมัยเล่นโฆษณาตัวแรกเลยเขาเก็บกุ้งอะครับ
โอ้โหแฟนมันแท้เหมือนกันนะเรา
ไหนๆก็ไหนๆแล้ว ผมขอถ่ายรูปหน่อยได้ไหมครับ
ได้ครับ ได้ครับ มาเลย
เซลฟี่นะครับ
That's kind of sweet. I'm kind of happy for him.
1 2 3โอเค ขอบคุณครับ
Proud of you.
เข้าเลย
Kevin still doesn't look that sure about things. You better be fucking sure you've taken 3 years to figure it out.
มาเที่ยวเหรอ เข้าข้างในก่อนไหม เข้าไปก่อน เดี๋ยวอธิบายให้ฟัง
Yeah, why is Plume here? He taken your luggage, you better follow him. Oh, he took all the sheets off of everything. Does he live here? It's like nothing changed, no?
ไปนั่งก่อน จำทางได้นะ บ้านตัวเองนี่ นี่มา
Plume doesn't seem too upset about anything. I guess you wouldn't after so much time, right? You wouldn't be as bothered.
คือ
He nervous.
ซื้อบ้านหลังนี้ไว้เหรอ อืม ทำไมถึงซื้ออ่ะ
How is that possible if it belongs to Kevin?
แล้ว ทำไมสงสัยอ่ะ ก็มันไม่มีเหตุผลอะไรที่ต้องซื้อไว้อ่ะ มีดิ มีหลายข้อด้วย มันสวย ทำเลมันดี แล้วก็ เป็นที่ที่มีแต่ความทรงจำดีๆอะ
Except when you found out that your dad was killed by Kevin's family. I'm pretty sure that was in
ข
this
นาดตอน
room,
ที่
no?
ยูเดินเข้ามา
That wasn't a good memory for you.
ยูยังรู้สึกคิดถึงอยู่เลยนี่
He looks just as nervous as he did at the end of last episode.
เป็นไรเนี่ย เก่งอะไรขนาดนี้ ขยับออกไปหน่อย ทำไมอ่ะ นี่บ้านไอนะ
Got a point.
งั้นไอไปก็ได้
เฮ้ย ไม่เอา
Damn, you a bit frosty,
ก็จะ
no?
แย่เล่นเฉยๆ ขอโทษ
I don't think you guys are at teasing terms anymore.
เดี๋ยวพาไปกินเมนูเด็ดประเทศไทย เป็นการไถ่โทษ
Oh, Plume's still head over heels in love with Kevin, though. He's
You
still got the
realize that
same look in
Mania-
his eyes that he did in
Oh, like
episode
that.
1.
ไม่ได้เล่น จะพาไปกินจริง
แล้วตัวเองไปกินด้วยได้เหรอ เป็นดาราดังใหญ่โตแล้วนี่
ๆ แน่ เป็นแฟนคลับไอเหรอ
Cute. Plume's still very sweet, no?
รอดิ
His confidence has
หลง
improved
ตัวเอ
too.
ง
ก็ถ้าไม่รอ งั้นจะเป็นดาราได้เหรอ
ก็เป็นด้วยความสามารถก็ได้ปะ
งั้นก็แสดงว่าไอเก่ง
He just shamelessly flirting straight off the bat.
ขอลายเซ็นด้วยปะ จะได้แลกกันเซ็น ไอก็อยากได้ลายเซ็นไลฟ์สตรีมเมอร์นักเล่าเรื่องผีชื่อดังเหมือนกัน ตัวจริง น่ารักเหมือนในไลฟ์เลยนะครับ
The confidence he has to just straight up start flirting with Kevin again after 3 years and after the ending that they had.
กลัวผีไม่ใช่เหรอ
ก็อยากเห็นหน้ายูลืมกลัวผีไปเลย
Hmm.
นี่ยูไม่ตกแต่งอะไรใหม่เลยเหรอ
They're still holding hands.
ก็
Just throwing that out there.
ไอบอกแล้ว ที่นี่มันมีแต่ความทรงจำ ไอไม่อยากเปลี่ยนอะไรทั้งนั้นอะ
Mm.
นี่มันฟิล์มของไอที่หายไปนี่
ใช่ ยูลืมไว้ตอนเราไปเที่ยวทะเลด้วยกันอะไอก็เลยล้างเก็บไว้ให้
Hang in there, Kevin. Stay strong. This kind of feels like payback, no, for when he was teasing Plume in episode 4 or whenever it was. Oh, cute. It makes me so frustrated that they went from this to Kevin leaving the country without saying anything. It makes me almost angry. I feel so irrational.
ขอบคุณนะที่เก็บไว้ให้อะเหมือนได้เจอของสำคัญที่หายไปเลย
ไอก็เหมือนกัน
Mm.
กวิน คิดถึง ยูยังน่ารักเหมือนเดิม
I agree with that.
ตาก็สวย จมูก ยูอย่าแกล้ง เรื่องนี้ไอไม่เคยแกล้งนะ
I believe it. I don't know why you wouldn't believe it. Why would you think he's teasing you? This man been head over heels in love with you since he first came round that one night.
ครั้งนี้ ยังถือว่าเร็วไปอีกไหมอะ
Beg your pardon? You're just gonna...
ไอไม่อยากรอแล้วอะ
Well, that ain't what you said in episode 4. I got such a soft spot for nose touches. I don't know what it is.
ไอก็ไม่อยากให้ยูรอ
It's so sweet. Okay. So you guys are just gonna... Yep. They're in the bedroom. Okay. I didn't think they would get right to it, you know? I thought there would be more conversation. Nope, no more conversation. It's been 3 years and you guys have seen each other for like 10 minutes. 20 tops, no? Just straight into this. I will not complain, I'm just saying. Why do I watch the uncut versions of these? I don't know. Just gonna hide, you know? Hiding. Yep, they're still gorgeous. Damn. I don't know how long this scene is, but I feel really flustered there. Okay, he's having fun. How much are they gonna show of this? Okay. I feel like that was considerably more content than we got in episode 4, no? Jeez. Well, they made up. Wow, they really made up, no? I don't. I'm still, my thoughts, hello. Hello. My thoughts remain the same regarding the fact that it feels unrealistic that they would be that into each other after 3 years apart. If I think about where I was 3 years ago, was that 2019? Gosh. I don't even speak to half the people I spoke to back then. I don't know, it's a really long time, right? And I get that Plume still watched Kevin's live streams, and Kevin still, like, he was like a fan of Plume and was keeping up with him. So they were like seeing each other kind of thing. But they weren't communicating at all for those 3 years. Are you really telling me that their love just persisted? I don't know. And I can't even trust in my, like, Disney romance loving heart to be like, oh, their love persisted for years apart or whatever. Because if I'm gonna go down the Disney route, then their love would have stopped them from doing all of this shit in the first place, no? The leaving without saying goodbye, the years apart. And I don't get why now. Like, why did Kevin decide on this moment to go back and reconnect with Plume? Why right now? Why not last year? Why not 2 weeks before? Why not a year from now? 6 months down the line? Why did it take 3 years and then he's like, yeah, I miss him, I'm gonna go back? Sometimes these time jumps and these temporary breakups make sense, and sometimes they don't, and I feel like this is one of the times when they don't. I don't know. However, that scene that we just watched, holy moly, no? Holy moly. So what's the plan now, Stan? Are you gonna run away back to America again 2 months down the line? You have to give kudos to Plume, though, for being as brave as he was. He was just straight up flirting again without even getting a read on how Kevin felt about him at this point.
จะไปอาบน้ำยังไม่ได้เช็คอินโรงแรมเลย
ไม่ต้องไปไหนเท่านั้นแหละ นอนกับไอที่นี่แหละ
จองโรงแรมไว้แล้ว เสียดายตังค์อ่ะ
เดี๋ยวไอจ่ายให้ เท่าไหร่ว่ามา
ไม่เอา
ถ้าอยู่จะไปนอนโรงแรม ไอก็จะไปนอนด้วย เดี๋ยวไปเก็บ
Plume not gonna let you go this time by the sounds of things. Very determined individual, initiated.
จะงองแงทำไมเนี่ย
He probably just doesn't want you to sleep with him and run away again.
อยากอยู่ด้วย ไม่อยากให้ไปไหน
Basically.
ไอยังอยู่ตั้งหลายอาทิตย์ ไม่ได้รีบกลับสักหน่อย
โอ้ยแค่คิดว่าอยู่จะกลับอะนะ ไอก็จะขาดใจตายแล้ว
เหมือนไส้
โอ้ย
เจ็บนะครับ ก็อย่าเวอร์สิครับ
ยูไม่รู้หรอกว่า3 ปีที่ผ่านมา ไออยากเจอยูขนาดไหน แล้วก็ไม่คิดด้วยว่าจะมีวันนี้
Makes it seem like it's out of his control, right? He's... You could have reached out. You were in his live streams. You could have commented. I guess he's trying to give Kevin his space because Kevin was the one that left.
ไอก็ไม่รู้เหมือนกันว่าทำไมวันนั้นไอถึงโง่ปล่อยอยู่ไปทำไมวันนั้นไอถึงไม่ยอมทำอะไรสักอย่าง
I do believe the fan base was collectively screaming when you guys were just ignoring each other on the bus.
ไม่ใช่แค่ยูที่ผิด ไอก็ผิดเหมือนกัน
I agree. I think the majority of the blame lies with you. He had his heart broken when you rejected him. I don't blame him.
ถ้า
He
วัน
was
นี้
trying to
ไม่กล้า
be nice and give you space and
ไอก็ไม่
freedom.
กล้า วันนั้น ถ้ายูรู้สึกว่าตัวเองโง่ ไอก็โง่ เรายังไม่ได้เก่งขนาดนั้นในวันนั้น
Well, we agree on something. We agree on that.
ไม่เห็นจะเป็นไรเลย
It was a very messy situation.
แต่วันนี้ที่เราได้กลับมาเจอกัน ยู
He still
ก็เป็
says
นเพื่อน
you.
คนใหม่ที่เก่งขึ้น ส่วนไอ ก็เป็นกวินคนใหม่ที่เก่งขึ้นเหมือนกัน
You guys couldn't have grown and become better as people together.
ต่อให้มีเรื่องยากๆเข้ามาในชีวิต
No.
นะ เราก็จะผ่านมันไปได้ แล้ว
At least that sounds like he's not going to run off without saying goodbye again.
เราจะผ่านมันไปด้วยกัน ใช่ไหม
No, Kevin's so cute. Oh my god. These two are definitely like one of the cutest, most wholesome couples we've had now. They're both freaking adorable. What?
ยู
He still says you as well.
หิวข้าวอ่ะ
Oh. God, I thought it was going to be something awful, like he was dreaming or
อ
something.
ยากกินอะไร
หมูกระทะ
In some ways they've changed, and in some ways not at all,
อยาก
no?
กินเหมือนกัน งั้นเดี๋ยวไอทำให้กินนะ
เย่
Cute.
แล้วหึไหนค่าจ้างไออะ
ไม่เอาตรงนี้
Oh my god. Very sweet. Alright, children, rein it in, please. Don't make me turn this car around. They're so sweet. Oh my goodness. Well, this table looks a lot emptier than it did in episode 1 now.
จะได้โตไว
Cute.
นี่หมูกระทะสูตรนะเจี๊ยบ ชื่อหมูกระทะ
มูกระทะไข่แดง ไอจำสูตรมา
Hmm.
อร่อยอ่ะ
แล้วไปอยู่ที่นู่นเป็นไงบ้างอะ
ก็ดีนะ ได้กลับไปเรียน แล้วก็ทำคอนเทนต์ไปด้วย
ไอคอนเทนต์ออนไลน์ของยูอะไรอะไปสรรหาวิธีมาจากไหนเยอะแยะ บางอันมันก็หลอนไปปะ
ผ่านมาตั้งนานแล้ว นี่ยูยังกลัวผีกรีดแตกเหมือนตอนนั้นอีกปะเนี่ย
You knew some very nice ghosts.
ไอก็เหมือนเดิมทุกอย่างแหละ
ไม่เหมือนเดิมเหอะ ตอนนี้ยูเป็นปลื้มปิติพงษ์ไม่ใช่คนสวยหล่อบอกต่อด้วยแล้วนะ
ยังเหมือนเดิมครับ ยูเห็นต้นไม้นั้นไหม ไออะปลูกเองทุกต้น รดน้ำตัดหญ้า ไอก็ยังทำเองทุกอย่าง
Hmm.
แล้ว
I was just thinking that right before he asked it. I was like, are we gonna see
เรี
Prim
ยน
this
มหาลัยเล่า
episode?
ตอนนี้ไป work and travel อยู่อะ ที่บ้านรกๆอย่างเงี้ยมันก็เพราะปิมไม่อยู่นี่แหละ
Mm. It was kind of nice, the idea that Prim went to live in the house that
แล้ว ยูมาเป็นนักแสด
Sinan
ง
was
ได้
in,
ไง
right?
อ่าก็ตั้งแต่ที่ไปถ่ายโฆษณาข้าวเกรียบอะอยู่จำได้ใช่ไหม วันนั้นอะไอเล่นไม่ดีเลย อยู่ก็น่าจะเห็น แต่ว่าพี่ผู้กำกับเขาน่าจะสงสารไอมั้ง ก็เลยแนะนำโมเดลลิ่งให้ แล้วก็พี่กุชชี่ที่เขาดูแลไออยู่ตอนเนี้ยเขาก็คอยหางานมาให้เรื่อยๆอะจนมาได้โปรเจกต์ซีรีส์เรื่องหนึ่งไอได้เล่นเป็นเพื่อนพระเอกด้วยนะ สนุกมาก ยากมาก ไอได้เล่นเป็นนักว่ายน้ำต้องถอดเสื้อกับลูกซีเลย มีเวิร์กช็อปดำน้ำด้วยนะ
Makes
ไอ
me
ก็
think
ทำ
of
เต็ม
another
ที่
show I'm
ก็พ
watching
ยายาม
at the
สุดๆแหละ
moment.
พอจบซีรีส์ก็พอจะมีแฟนคลับกับเขาบ้าง
ไม่ใช่แค่พอมีบ้างมั้ง แม่ไอกับพวกป้าๆนะ ตอนอยู่ที่อเมริกา เขาดูซีรีส์อยู่กันทุกตอนเลยนะ
จริงเหรอ แล้วแม่ยูบอกว่าไอหล่อปะ
หล่อดิ แม่ยังบอกอีกนะว่า
แม่บอกว่าไงเหรอ
Cute.
ไม่พูดแล้ว ยูก็ดูโตขึ้นเยอะเลยนะ ยูยังเคยบอกไออยู่เลย
It's weird how a change of clothes and a different
ว่า
hairstyle
การ
can
เป็น
make
ดา
them
รา
seem
ไม่ใช่
older,
เรื่อง
right?
ง่ายๆแต่ดูตอนนี้ดิ ยูได้เป็นแล้วเนี่ย แถมยังได้เป็นนักกีฬาว่ายน้ำซะด้วย เมื่อก่อนไอแค่แกล้งถอดเสื้อยูเล่นๆ ยังเขินจะเป็นจะตายอยู่เลย
แต่ตอนเนี้ยไม่เขินแล้วนะ
Yeah, we know.
เมื่อกี้ก็เปิดให้ดูทุกส่วนแล้วนี่
They still have the dynamic of Kevin starts teasing Plume, but Plume always ends up winning, though.
ไม่ได้คิดแบบนั้นเลย ก็เวลายูทำตัวไม่ถูก แล้วยูน่ารักอะ
Mm-hmm.
ก็
The man's right. It's undeniable.
หยอกนิดหน่อย
He does a cute little pout thing. Like that. It was very sweet. What? Oh god, what?
มีอะไรเหรอยู
Good question. Was that the ring that he put on his finger in like episode 5?
กวิน
It must be, right? The way he's reacting. He kept her for like 3 years.
ที่ผ่านมา ยูยังคิดถึงไอ เหมือนที่ไอคิดถึงยูใช่ไหม
You would hope so. You just slept together. Or I guess it didn't really mean much last time, did it? He kept his as well? No way. Cute.
ครั้งนี้ ยูพร้อมจะจริงจังกับเรื่องของเราแล้วใช่ไหม
I no longer trust Kevin to say the right
ข
thing.
อโทษนะ
Yeah, there you go.
ที่ให้ยูรอนานอ่ะ
Oh. I guess he did come back here to rekindle with Plume, right? This would be what he wanted. He's so happy about it.
ไม่เปลี่ยนใจแล้วใช่ไหม
Who knows, man?
ไม่ให้ไปไหนแล้วนะ
3 years it took him to figure this out, that this is what he wanted. Even though he kept the fucking ring pull thing this
ไอ
whole
จะนั่ง
time.
แต่นั่งกลัวแล้ว ว่าสักวันหนึ่งจะต้องเสียยูไปหรือเปล่า เพราะไอรู้แล้วว่า สิ่งที่น่ากลัวและน่าเสียดายที่สุด คือการที่ไม่ได้ใช้เวลากับคนที่ไอรักให้คุ้มค่าที่สุด
Literally. Can't believe it took you 3 years to figure that out, man. My god. It frustrates me so much. It feels so obvious to me.
ที่จะอยู่กับยูนะ กินข้าวกันดีกว่า
Boyfriends. We got there. It only took 2 episodes in 3 years. Technically 8 episodes in 3 years. So what, is it going to be long distance then when Kevin goes back to America? Or is he going to stay? Who knows? Where are you now? I miss the
เจี๊ยบ
family.
นะอาร์ต
Yeah.
สีน้ำ
I miss the family.
คุณ
Least problematic family
ตอน
we've
นี้
ever had.
ปื้มเขามาซื้อบ้านหลังนี้แล้วนะครับ แล้วก็ยังเก็บของหลายอย่างไว้อยู่ด้วย กล่องดนตรีของสีน้ำก็ยังอยู่นะ เสื้อผ้าบางตัวของสีฝุ่น ที่เราบอกว่าเป็นชุดตัวเก่งอะพี่ปื้มเขาก็ยังเก็บไว้ให้ เจ๊ก ตอนนี้อยู่สบายใจได้แล้วนะ ตอนนี้ไอเจอแล้ว คนที่ยูก็เคยพูดว่าอยากเจอ
He knew that 3 years ago. That's why he left. Oh, gosh.
แต่เขาก็ไม่ได้รักไอได้ดีกว่ายูหรอกนะ
I disagree with that.
ยูก็รักไอได้ดีที่สุด ในแบบของยูแล้วเหมือนกัน
That's sweet. Kevin be stressing me out these last 2 episodes,
ทำ
man.
อะไรอ่ะ จุดธูปคุย
Just
กัน
telling my dead. Yeah, there we go.
เพื่อนเก่า
Cute.
ไอก็แค่อยากเล่าให้ทุกคนสบายใจอ่ะ
I hope that Jake and Sifun are together
เพ
somewhere.
ราะตอนนี้ไอมีความสุขมาก
If they've been reborn, and they find each other, they can hang out. That would be nice, no?
ต่อให้เขาจะได้ยินหรือไม่ได้ยินนะ ไอก็ยังอยากบอกอยู่ดีอ่ะ แล้วยูอ่ะ ไม่มีอะไรอยากจะบอกพ่อบ้างเหรอ
ป๊า นี่แฟนปื้มเอง
Cute.
น่ารักปะล่ะ
There it is, the little pout.
เดี๋ยวชาวบ้านเขาตื่นหมดก็น่ารักจริงไหมล่ะไอ้ต้องเลย
I love Plume. He's the sweetest to know. He's so romantic. Sniff kisses. They took a while to get their shit together, but they got their shit together, no? We got there. We don't know what's gonna happen when Kevin goes back to America, though. Or if he's gonna go back. God, this house feels so familiar to me for some reason. It's so sweet the way that the house is now like a combination of Plume's family, like Plume and
ซีรีส์จบ
Prim,
แล้ว แต่เรื่องของเรายังไม่จบนะ
and
ใครคิดถึงปลื้มหรือ
Kevin's
บอยเข้ามา
family.
เซ็น
That's
สัญญา
so
ที่ Wibi Live
sweet.
Application ID บ่อยๆนะครับ
Is that it? That's it. That's their happy ending. We don't ever find out what happens if Kevin goes back to America or not. Who knows? Cute.
เดี๋ยวนะ and action เดิมเลยครับ
I feel like this episode went so fast.
จริงไง จริงไง
ยังไง
จริงไง
ไม่ก็จะบอกว่าซีนเนี้ยที่ทุกคนได้เห็นไปมันคือซีนจบของซีรีส์เรื่องเรา
บริบูรณ์
บริบูรณ์เลย
Give me another Boy Todd series right fucking now, no. They're such a good acting pair together. They're so sweet. Okay. The the preview that broke me, no. I remember when I saw that in the preview when I first watched it. My goodness. Okay, episode thoughts, and then I'll do my review. It felt like a short episode, which means it was very good, right? It didn't drag on too much. I mean, I've been talking as the episode goes on about my kind of thoughts about stuff that doesn't really make sense to me, but overall, I'm glad they got the happy ending. I'm glad that they sorted it out and they reconnected. And because it's kind of like My Secret Love, right? Where the person kind of leaves at the end of an episode, and then at the beginning of the episode they're coming back to reconcile, and you have that time jump, but then like there's barely any suffering, you know? So we had at the very beginning, we had like a 7 days later flash forward, and that had some sadness in it with Plume watching the live. That was kind of heartbreaking. But other than that, I think it got resolved pretty quickly. And then yeah, it was very sweet that Plume bought the house. I would have thought it would have been in Kevin's name. So I don't know how he did that, unless the family didn't leave it to Kevin, and therefore it went to maybe like the government and he had to buy it through them. I don't know. I don't know how he managed to buy the house without Kevin having to sign off on it. But it's not important. It's very sweet that he has it. And you've got like Prim's stuff next to Nam's stuff, and their families have kind of merged, and it's very sweet. I like that a lot. Very good NC scene. These guys have got really, really good chemistry now. Especially considering, I don't know if they're a new pairing or if I've just never seen them before, but considering I've never seen them in anything before, I feel like they did a really, really good job now. And most of this entire episode was just the two of them. We had Kevin's mother at one point, and we had Plume's manager, and after that it was basically an hour of just these two acting. So I think that's pretty phenomenal that they keep you invested in stuff when it's just the two people interacting and doing stuff. So I'm gonna do my review and then for the series, and then I'll be back and we will talk about the series as a whole. So I'm done writing my review. The longest part actually was trying to work out when I started watching it, because I couldn't remember. I remembered I didn't start watching it on the day it came out, so I couldn't use my drama list. But thankfully I watched the first episode of this on the same day I watched the first episode of The Eclipse, so I could just go back to my review for that and find the date. I'm given half ratings now. That's just how it works. It gets 2.5 stars. It was 100% gonna be a 3-star show. It probably wouldn't have gotten Shiny Lines, just because Shiny Lines is like, feels like it changed my life, we'll remember it forever kind of show. So it probably wouldn't have gotten that, but it was definitely on track to get 3 stars for the entire run through of it until last episode. And don't get me wrong, we can have time jumps and temporary splits and it will not ruin the rating of the show or anything like that. Take Until We Meet Again, that still got Shiny Lines, right? 1,000 stars did as well. It's not just like if it has that in it, it's gonna get downvoted. It's to do with how it's used, and we will go into that a little bit with the things that I struggled with. But for now, it gets 2.5 stars. 2 just didn't feel right. I gave 2 to Lovely Writer, Still Together, Kin Porsche. I definitely enjoyed this way more than those. So I went with 2.5. It's the only one to get 2.5 so far. And I think that's for the best. I did cry. I cried at the end of episode, I want to say 6. It's either 5 or 6. It was the episode where we said goodbye to Sifun and Sinam, because it just built up, right? We lost Sinam, and then we lost Sifun, and that, like, the way that he went was really heart-wrenching to me. And then the ending where Plume was hugging Prim and stuff. So it all kind of built up, and I cried at the end of that episode. So I cried once. Favourite characters? Plume, Kevin, Sifun, Sinam. I loved the aunt and uncle too. I loved the supporting characters, but those 4 were definitely my favourites. I grew very attached to the twins, for sure, so they had to go on there. And I was probably the most upset about losing them. And Plume and Kevin, obviously. I think for most of the show, Kevin was my favourite. I found him so cute, and just I was obsessed. I still loved Plume as well, and I was starting to see that he was a really romantic person and really caring and sweet and devoted. But in these last couple episodes where I was like, Kevin, what the fuck are you doing? And I felt so bad for Plume. He really did grow on me, and by the end of it, I think Plume is my favourite character. And the fact that after everything that happened, when Kevin turned up again, he was just shamelessly flirting again, straight off the bat. It was so sweet, no? I really like his character a lot. I like both of their characters a lot. Things I struggled with is a longer list than I thought it was going to be a couple of weeks ago, I'm not gonna lie. And almost all of it is related to the last 2 episodes. I've talked about it before, but I'll try and summarize in a way that makes sense. And it's okay if you disagree with me, that's fine. I've definitely had conversations with people on Twitter already who have, I don't know what word I'm trying to think of, but they kind of sided with Kevin more, right? They felt more like they could understand his actions. Whereas I was kind of on the feeling that I felt really bad for Plume. And I didn't understand a lot of what Kevin was doing. So it's okay to have a different opinion, but from where I'm standing, the time lapse and the breakup seemed unnecessary, and it seemed unrealistic. It really felt like they just threw it in there for the drama because the penultimate episode needed more drama, and they had to fill up that content. There's definitely a way that they could have had all of Kevin's mixed feelings about the situation without him taking off and going back to America. I know that it was always his plan to go back to America and that he was only visiting Thailand, but it's more the fact that he just up and left without saying anything, without giving Plume a chance to say goodbye, without allowing them to resolve it so that it didn't end in a messy way. He completely took all of that away from Plume. And that in itself isn't unrealistic, it's just frustrating, but it did feel unnecessary and like it was just a plot device, and it didn't feel like something necessarily that the characters would do. Especially at the end of episode 7, it was framed in a way that it was all to do with Jake, right? And by that point, they'd already slept together and gotten close and were holding hands and were being basically like a married couple. They were totally in the honeymoon phase, right? Even if you think of like those two and Sifoon in episode 6, whenever it was, laying on the floor in like the triangle, and they were just constantly holding hands, and they've got that skinship thing going on, you know? And throughout all of that, Kevin never once seemed to question what was going on with him and Plume. He didn't hesitate. He didn't think of Jake too much in terms of like what he should be doing with Plume. It didn't stop him from sleeping with Plume. It didn't stop him from teasing him and getting on his lap. All of this stuff, right? And then all of a sudden it comes out of nowhere. So if all of this hesitation had happened earlier, I would have understood it, but it didn't get in the way of anything. They were completely smooth sailing, to the point where I think I mentioned in like 3 different weeks, like, those two are doing so great. They are like, the ship is sailing smoothly. They had no issues, right? And then they had all the big drama with like the plot twist of how Plume's dad died, and that felt like a realistic like kind of situation. The way they were acting towards each other, that was very realistic, and I think that conflict was handled really well. So again, it's not like me trying to avoid drama, it's just that this felt like it came out of nowhere and it felt kind of out of character. I don't know. So all of that came out of nowhere, and for a show that's done such a good job at being unique with its plot and the way it's handled things, it felt so different from every other BL. And then they just went back to the same old, really overused penultimate episode trope. You know, and it felt like such a letdown that they've resorted to that when they've been so unique so far. And it was so rare to see a couple that was so wholesome and smooth sailing, and it was all about them coping with like the losses they faced and working all of that out and the ghosty stuff. It really felt kind of like a paranormal BL, and then it became like every other BL. It was kind of disappointing. And it definitely felt like it was just thrown in there because that's what they needed for the penultimate episode. I don't necessarily feel like Kevin, the way he's been treating Plume up until episode 7, was going to lead into any of what happened. potentially, like I said, his hesitation and all of that, yes. But just up and leaving like that, no. For 3 years? No. No. So again, added in unnecessary drama without valid reasons. The unrealistic side of it is the coming back and reconciling, right? And the amount of time they spent away without contact. So they're obviously still like each other. Plume was watching Kevin's live streams. Kevin was keeping on track of like Plume's career. They both wore the little ring tab thing, the little can ring, as jewelry. That's how much they cared about each other. To do that for 3 years, but to not reach out to the other person when you know that you can. Kevin still had Plume's number. I'm sure if he's famous, he's probably got a business contact where Kevin could have contacted his manager, and the manager could have mentioned it to to Plume, sorry, and that it could have gone through that way. So Kevin had his ways. Plume also had his ways. If he was watching the live stream, he could have commented. Kevin could have spoken to him that way. They could have reconciled sooner, right? So they chose not to for 3 years, to grow up and mature as people, which again, in real life, you can do that in a relationship. You don't need to do it apart. You don't. It's so unrealistic to think that you need to become the person that you should be, end goal, and then get in a relationship. Life is a journey. You're always going to be growing. From now, at the end of episode 8, they're still going to be growing. So, you know, why is it this point? Why is it I've reached this level of growing up and becoming a better person? Now I can be in the relationship, when they're going to keep becoming better and better anyway. So it feels very weird to kind of be like, we need to stop this while I go and live my life and grow up a little bit, and then I'm gonna come back after 3 years and our feelings for each other won't have changed. Very, very peculiar. As much as I really thought it was quite cute that Plume was just straight in there with the flirting again, as if nothing had happened, and you could tell his feelings hadn't changed, it doesn't feel realistic. And I know it's a ghost show, but even fantasy and sci-fi needs to be grounded in the rules of reality for it to be believable. So it just felt unnecessary to begin with, and then unrealistic when they came back, that they would still be that obsessed with each other. 3 years is such a long time. For them to go exactly back to where they left off, and within half an hour of Kevin being in the house, they were already fucking. It doesn't make sense to me. And then, as I said, you don't know, like, why he picked that moment. Why didn't he do it 2 years later? Why didn't he decide to wait 3.5 years? Why did he pick that moment? Like, was that the first time his mum brought Plume up and he was like, actually, yeah, I fucking miss him, I'm gonna go? He knows he missed Plume. That's why he kept the can ring as jewelry. I don't know. As much as I'm all for like the Disney romance kind of stuff, it doesn't sit right with me that they would still feel this way after 3 years of being like not simpatico. You know, like they're not communicating. It's very, very peculiar to me. I think what also added to the unrealisticness of it is that they didn't address the messy way that things ended until after they'd slept together. So they just got on, you know, and got it on, and were fine with each other. And then they talk about how things ended and that they didn't handle it well. And I'm glad they had that conversation and admitted it and didn't gloss over it. But the fact they glossed over it to begin with, and, you know, Plume was just okay and things like that. I feel like in real life, if things had been that messy, splitting up, for Kevin to turn up again and you can see that he's still got that kind of unsure stance, I feel like Plume would be wondering, okay, how does he feel about me? Does he still want me to flirt with him, or is it going to be really awkward if I do that? So him going straight into flirting and shuffling close, especially because Kevin then said, give us space, you need to move back. I would be sitting there going, okay, he definitely doesn't feel the way he used to about me. You know? It was very easily resolved after all of that messiness and time apart. It was just a bit too smooth resolved, you know, smoothly resolved. And lastly, they didn't answer a lot of the questions that I had, like why now do they reconcile? What kind of, you know, I don't know, why 3 years? And what will happen when Kevin goes back to America? So they didn't confirm, unless I missed it, they didn't confirm if Kevin is now going to stay there with Plume permanently or if they're going to be in a long distance relationship. They talked about the fact they're together now and they can face anything together, but he's still only meant to be there for a couple of months, right? So it would have just been nice if they had clarified that he was either going to stay permanently or they were going to do long distance and he was going to visit every so often. It didn't feel wrapped up. I didn't get that completed resolution kind of feeling to the point where I had to hover to be like, is that it? Is that the end of the show? It didn't give me that kind of wrapped up kind of feeling, you know? I know I've spent a lot longer talking about things I struggled with than I normally do, which makes it seem like the show is riddled with problems, but all of that is literally connected to the last 2 episodes. Everything else has been amazing. The show has been phenomenal to the point where all of this going on that I don't like still has not managed to drop it from a 2.5, which I think is, you know, really good. All in all, a phenomenal show. What I did like about it is that Kevin and Plume were adorable and wholesome. I loved them. Their characters were so sweet from the moment they met each other, and they would like Plume was trying to speak English and Kevin was just going along with it, and you could tell they were starting to flirt with each other a little bit. They've been so adorable and wholesome. They've been so sweet. They've had all the kisses, all the affection. There've been green flags everywhere, no? I loved them. So adorable and wholesome pairing. We need more of them, though. Supporting characters were likable. I really liked the family a lot. I got really interested in the plot because of them and the staff, the way that the system worked, the points ticking down, all of that. The supporting characters brought all of that to life. I really enjoyed that a lot. I became very invested, probably more than I should have done, with Sifoon and Jake and Nam and Prim. Considering this was only 8 episodes, the fact that they kind of hinted that there was stuff going on there, especially with Nam and Prim. I don't know about anyone else, but I would have happily taken 12 episodes of this show and seen the supporting characters and their pairings fleshed out more. Obviously, because it's, you know, budget related and new cast members, things like that, it isn't possible to do that, but I would have been there for it. The fact that Sifoon and Jake could absolutely sell chemistry with one fucking hug. No? Crazy. I really liked the supporting characters a lot, and I felt really sad when the family had to go. The plot was unique and interesting. If we take away all of this stuff I've just been talking about, really interesting plot, no? I like having a paranormal BL for a start. It actually had ghosts in it. Very, very cool. We had a very intricate system, kind of the way that your points accumulate and then start ticking down and you can spend them on things, and, you know, seeing what the characters choose to spend them on. Can you imagine? Sinam and Sifoon using basically the last of their points to get these two back together after the whole fight thing and with the Plume's dad and the accident. And then they go ahead and spend 3 years apart. Can you imagine them in the afterlife or being reborn and just being like, motherfuckers? But it was a very interesting and unique plot, and I feel like I'd be down to have more of that, honestly. I really like the idea of stuff like that. The surprises and plot twists. For example, why Kevin got into ghost hunting, which I just thought was just a weird hobby of his, to actually find the whole Jake sub-story in there and the kind of sadness behind that and why he got into it. I found that really, really cool. Plume's dad's death, finding out that that's linked to the accident that killed Kevin's family and that there's so much more going on there. the plot turned out to be way more complex and intricate than I thought it was going to be. The main pairing had chemistry. Look at them. Look at them. They had so much chemistry. Episode 4, I feel like it's episode 4, right? The first NC scene. Damn near killed me. The frame of Kevin in his short shorts on Plume's lap damn near killed me. They have incredible chemistry together. This scene where they're gonna do it again and Kevin is like teasing Plume, insane. Their chemistry is through the roof. Definitely would be down to see them together in something else in the future. And lastly, the skinship between Kevin and Plume. The fact that they were always holding hands, they were always touching, they were pinching each other's cheeks. There's several moments, especially earlier on in the show, like where you see them in the yard for the house, and Plume like takes Kevin's hands and just holds his hands. And it's just like there's something so gentle and nice and sweet about it. I don't know. I like that they went that route and they made them seem just really natural and healthy and wholesome. I love it a lot. The picture is from my drama list. The summary is from my drama list. I feel like the summary just kind of backed up how I felt about all of this stuff at the end being a little bit unnecessary to the plot. Because the plot summary for this is all about what happens until like episode 6 with the accident and they're both feeling that loss. And I feel like that was a really interesting plot. Like I said, a really unique plot idea. I think that could have carried the show. I didn't think that we needed all of this with Kevin going back to America without saying goodbye. You can definitely have the hesitation about Jake, but have it earlier on when it makes sense. And I really feel like all of this going on with the accident and what the My Drama List summary says, that was definitely interesting enough to carry the show. I don't think we needed all of this last minute drama thrown in. So I don't know. All in all, I still absolutely loved it. I really did love it. It's a very sweet show, and I think they did really, really well. Considering a lot of the shows that are like 6 episodes, 8 episodes, they come across a bit rushed. I feel like Even Sun was probably the biggest one for that, where I loved it in concept, but I feel like it was really rushed. I don't think I really felt that way about this. Like I said, they could have definitely had more episodes and expanded on the twins and their relationships and stuff like that. They definitely could have added in another couple of episodes before their points ran out, where we see more about Sifoon interacting with Jake and how much time they've spent together. You see a bit more of Nam and Prim, maybe about Nam trying to contact Prim. So not necessarily changing the outcome, but just a bit more content from them. But all in all, that doesn't mean that it felt rushed. I feel like it didn't feel rushed at all. I think they did really well for 8 episodes. And I feel like I'm going to miss these two a lot. I really want another series for them. They're very, very cute together now. But that is it for Ghost Host Ghost House. It was definitely a surprising one. I did not expect to like it as much as I did, and it has been the highlight of my midweek for a long time. I'm still currently watching Between Us, and I am also currently watching My Only 12%. I've watched 2 episodes. Being a bit slow with it, I'm sorry. So that is the next series that I'm picking up to watch alongside Between Us every week, is going to be My Only 12%, and then after that I've got no clue. So who knows. So that is it from me for now, and that is it for Ghost Host Ghost House completely. Very, very sweet series overall, and I feel like it needs more attention and more love. No, I feel like, I don't know. But that's it. Bye.